This is the Sean Hannity Show podcast.
Race relations have improved dramatically in my lifetime. Those who deny it are dishonoring the struggles that helped us achieve that progress. But we know, but America, we know that bias remains. We know it. Whether you are black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or of Middle Eastern descent, we have all seen this bigotry in our own lives at some point. We've heard it at times in our own homes. If we're honest, perhaps we've heard prejudice in our own heads and felt it in our own hearts. We know that. And while some suffer far more under racism's burden, some feel to a far greater extent discrimination's sting. Although most of us do our best to guard against it and teach our children better, none of us is entirely innocent. No institution is entirely immune. And that includes our police departments. We know this.
I'm dealing with a bit of guilt because I don't feel sad for the officers that lost their lives, and I know that that's really not my heart. I value human life, and I want to feel sad for them, but I can't help but feeling like the shooter was a martyr. And I know it's not the right way to feel because nobody deserves to lose their lives. I'm so torn up in my heart about seeing these men, these black men being gunned down in our community. I can't help but feel like I wasn't surprised by what the shooter did to those cops.
Do you believe that the shooter is a martyr, like you said?
Do you?
No, I do not. No, not in any way. I think the shooter was evil. I think he killed innocent people in cold blood.
He was I agree.
He was a terrorist, but you called him a martyr. Why?
Well, you know, a lot of the people, the terrorists, that's how terrorism is born. You know, when you think about people in other countries who believe and religions use this rhetoric to convince them that going out and killing people is right for their cause. They say you're going to be a martyr. And I believe that that's what Micah Johnson really thought. But he's not a martyr to me. He doesn't represent my feelings. He doesn't represent my cause. I would never, ever condone or support anyone who took the lives of innocent people, whether they are officers, whether they are civilians.
You called him a martyr. That's condoning it.
Watch the video.
All right.
People are looking at the headline, but they should really watch the video.
All right, that was from my TV show last night. That was a the first black Miss Alabama, and she was the one that called the killer of these police officers a martyr. Her name is Kaylin Chapman James. And I challenged her on last night on TV. There was a really sad story in the Blaze today about one of the cops that got killed, and he and his 9-year-old daughter had an exchange just before she was going to a movie, he was going to work, and the father actually said, and the daughter recounted this, that, well, what if this is the last time you ever kiss me or hug me? She said in an interview with CBS News, but, of course, people like Kaylin, when she made the comment, I don't care about these people. I don't care that they're dead. What about this 9-year-old girl that will never see the father she loved ever again? By the way, in Baton Rouge, we have 3 arrested in a plot to kill police officers there, all part of this ongoing assault against police officers all around the country, and the obsession now to pull all of this madness on video, live video streaming. You had a man recorded himself, apparently inadvertently in this case, and 2 others being gunned down in Norfolk, Virginia, during a live Facebook broadcast. Well, you had that woman, where was that, Minneapolis, and her boyfriend is shot. It's unbelievable to me. And she's sitting there just narrating, not helping the boyfriend. There was another video that I saw. I think I got this off of Breitbart. Pretty amazing video. There was a police officer confronted by a woman yelling at him, "Where you came from didn't come out of my mouth," screaming at him. Why? And cop asked very calmly, "Why are you so angry?" "Because you're dumb," the protester gets in his grill. Well, anyway, I sat in the back. "You're still dumb." Then the officer smiles. That's what they put up with every day. You have a California councilwoman under pressure to resign over her now deleted Facebook post on the Dallas shooting. It's unbelievable the things that have been written. And there's 5 statistics out there. Cops are killed nearly twice as many whites as blacks in 2015. More whites and Hispanics die from police homicide than blacks. The Post data showed that unarmed black men are more likely to die by the gun of a cop than an unarmed white man. But this doesn't tell the whole story. The ratio was 7-1 on unarmed black men dying from police gunshots compared to unarmed white men. The ratio was 6-1. In other words, pretty close in terms of numbers. But Heather McDonald pointed out in the Marshall Project, they looked at this, the unarmed label is literally accurate, but it frequently fails to convey these highly charged police situations. So there is context and there is texture to all of this. And you had a Black Lives Matter supporter throw a concrete planter through an officer's window, and in that case got shot as he was assaulting the officer. And then I told you about the Facebook post by Black Lives Matter Dallas. Good morning. In lieu of last night's murders of the 5 Dallas officers, it is what it is, justified. These killer cops have been killing our black men and women every day and getting away with it. I have no sympathy whatsoever for those cops, their lives, nor their families. You don't give a damn when it's our black men and women that they're slaughtering. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And it goes on and on. Anyway, joining us to comment further on all of this, we have the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. He has the website rebuildingtheman.com, author of the book The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. Also, Dr. Ron Martinelli is with us, the truth behind Black Lives Matter and the movement and the war on police. Thanks, both of you, for being here.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Why Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, if a group chants pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, and they chant, what do we want, dead cops, when do we want them now? Why does a president, in the case of Obama, or a presidential candidate, in the case of Hillary, why do they bring these people to the White House, and why do they seek these people's approval?
Because they desire power and wealth. And the way you gain that is by intimidating white people and using black Americans in their state of anger. As I said night before last on Fox Megyn Kelly show, is that black Americans are angry, not all but most, but the anger starts in the home, Sean, and it starts because they are growing up, they are coming into a family where the fathers are not there, and these boys and girls are growing up empty, and they desire love. They look for the love of their fathers, but they have been told that it's the white man, and we have allowed this to happen for the last 60 years or so, starting with this so-called civil rights movement. Jesse Jackson and others have been promoting that white people hate black people, that they're holding them down, and instead of white Americans standing up and saying no to that, they have caved in and given money and power and wealth to Jesse Jackson and others. And now we have generations and generation of black people who actually believe in that state of anger that white people are their problem. The terrorist shooter said it. He made it clear. He said that he was killing the police officers because he hate white people and especially white cops. And if you hear that over and over and over again, especially by the president of the United States of America, then what are they going to believe in that state of anger? And Barack Obama has created an environment of chaos. He's divided this country, the blacks and the whites, more than any other person in the history of America. And he knows exactly what he's doing. And for Barack Obama to speak at the funeral of those officers who were killed by the terrorists and then take that opportunity, that moment, to make a political statement for his own personal gain was evil, Sean. Barack Obama brought up gun control at the officers' funeral. He brought up the justice system was not fair to black people, and he brought up Black Lives Matter. For that man to do that, if white Americans don't understand, and good black folks, if they don't see the evil in Barack Obama and what he's doing and don't stand up and say no to this, we are in trouble. Barack Obama is going to be there until January of next year. This incident that happened.
Let me bring in
bad.
Dr. Martinelli.
But Sean, let me just say, we haven't seen anything.
I know. I think it's good. I think things are really bad. I really believe that. Anyway, Dr. Martinelli, do you want to weigh in?
Yes, I do. I agree with pretty much everything the Reverend is stated. The problem that I see is a forensic criminologist that, investigates about a quarter of these high-profile national shootings, is that the public, from politicians on the federal level all the way down to the street-level people, they have an emotional reaction instead of a studied forensic and informed response to the circumstances of these officer-involved death cases. The president himself did an assessment on 4 of the private cases, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Tamir Rice, and he was wrong 4 out of 4 times. What we have now is we have the Black Lives Matter movement, which is a hardcore nationalist, Marxist, revolutionary movement, there is no doubt about it, who is manipulating a lot of the uninformed black community. And they are manipulating these people, and it's divided between 2 groups. Those in the Black Lives Matter that are the hardcore black nationalist militants, and then you have the manipulated followers that don't know enough about this. In my book that's available on Amazon.com, The Black Lives Matter Movement, I discuss all of these cases, the founding members of the movement, all the funding. We have traced them to Northern Ireland. We have traced them to Hamas. We have traced them to Africa, revolutionary movements in Cuba, and the people need to ask themselves, why are the founding members and their surrogates going to these countries and meeting with these revolutionary people?
Another thing about that to add, Barack Obama, when that situation happened with Trayvon Martin, he said if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. With the professor in Boston or in Massachusetts, he said the cops acted stupidly. One other example is in when he said the hands up, don't shoot. All those things were lies. They were not true at all. But Obama did not come back and say, hey, I was wrong. Let's calm down. Let's not do this. I was wrong. He has not apologized for any of those things, and yet he keeps pretending that there's such a thing as white folks hating black people, feeding into that anger so that he could get the results that he is getting. Even the new Black Panther Party said the other day that they're going down to Ohio and they're going to wear their guns. They're going to have guns because you can do it in Ohio. No one is saying anything about that. These people are hateful, dangerous people, and anything can happen out there because white Americans are not going to put up with this stuff much longer, especially what's happened to the cops.
Sean, have you seen the print photograph of the that is a copy from the famous ISIS picture where the ISIS member had the prisoner in kneeling position and slitting his throat? Have you seen the retouched photograph now that shows a man in total black garb slitting the throat of a police officer who is kneeling? Have you seen that?
I have seen, and I have watched every single one of those horrific, evil tapes, and nobody's ever asked the president or Hillary if they have.
That's right.
And are you aware that the Day of Rage that is being produced by Black Lives Matter nationally, which is going to be Friday, July 15th, they're going to have major protests in a number of large urban cities across the country.
Yeah, they said they want to boycott businesses, and they're going to start with Target first. And they didn't want this information to get out in the media, so they have this email thing going around. And someone sent me a copy of it where they're going to have this great outburst on this coming Friday. And yet the president, Sean, our police officers are under attack. They're deliberately being shot at. They're being killed. And our government, our police department, no one is stopping it. I remember when the Tea Party movement started, and it was a good movement. They were not violent, but yet they were called terrorists. The black congressman pretended that they had called him the N-word. It was all lies, and they went out of their way to stop the Tea Party movement. But we literally have police officers being gunned down, and there is no sense of urgency about it at all. It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Sean, the problem on my end of it, and by the way, for full disclosure, I investigate all types of cases for all types of entities, attorney general's offices, municipalities, civil rights firms. I do a tremendous amount of civil rights work, and I will tell you, having investigated hundreds of these things, the people need to calm down. They need to, again, have a studied response. They need to let the justice system and the investigative bodies look at these cases, and they will find that the vast majority of these cases are justified.
Thank you both for being with